First round of the EDI Championship was held at Brands on the 8th and 9th of March. The weather conditions were awful for the weekend. Wet, windy and cold. Exactly what you need for a good start to the season. As luck would have it though, we were sharing a garage with Steve and Sarah Jordan. So at least we could stay out of the wind and the rain to effect repairs, change wheels and just generally stay dry. I don't think Ming was so suited though. It took him quite a while to get fired up on full choke and eventually burbles into life. Because the temperatures were so cold, it was quite important that we kept the tyres as hot as possible. With Ming not having an electric starter on him, we had to take the tyre warmers off, get him fired up, let the engine warm up for a while, then put the tyre warmers back on before they called us out for the first session. There was only one 15-minute qualifying session before the first race, so we got the bike fired up, made sure the tyre warmers were on, the tyres were at the temperature, and out we went.
It was pretty stable through there.
There's no patterning. The only thing front, I think, did you ever play with it?
Once we'd come back in after the practice session, Steve and I talked about various things on the machine setup and so on, and Steve Jordan came over and gave us a hand with basic suspension setup. He wanted to have a run over it to see whether he could offer any suggestions. We measured both ride height and sag, front and rear, so the bike was at least balanced. And although not perfect, was not too far off the mark. Steve did come up with some good suggestions, and over the next week or two we'll get the suspension down soon so we can get it checked out for us. We weren't quite sure how much fuel to put in, Ming, so we borrowed Steve's fuel extractor, drained him completely, and then topped him up with food, just the right amount. I'd qualified in pole position after the 15 minutes, which quite surprised me because I didn't seem to get much of a good clean lap for the whole 15-minute session. However, I did get pole on 52.43. It was a bit nip and tuck at the front, all about 5 or 6 riders all within about certainly less than a second. It's quite a while since I've been racing the 400, so there was going to be a few firsts. First time to get the bike off the line, I hadn't practiced starting when we were at Quat, and also been the first time to put myself and the 400 Yam up against the true competition. Ming is in an FZR 400R RSP with a close ratio gearbox, which actually means first gear is extremely tall. Great that once you're out rolling and out on the track, you've got 6 gears to play with. However, when you're setting off from the line, it's like on a normal road bike setting off in second gear, and the first gear is so tall. So needless to say, I didn't make a particularly brilliant start.
I'll let that settle down for a couple of laps. Can't do any of that.
Who was that guy in yellow? You were like getting close to it.
Oh, Phil, this bike's so fast. You couldn't believe it. More speed, Scotty. Need more speed.
Yeah, but you got second.
Oh, yeah. Why didn't I get first? Because I need more speed.
So, it's about enjoying it, not the winning.
Just way down on speed.
Did someone go down?
I don't know if it might have been the leader.
Yeah, I think Leon.
Well, there was a guy in an RC30, bit erratic, but his bike's really fast. I struggled to get past him. I kept catching Phil, but he'd just drive away from us on the straight, and he's fast enough in the corners to be holding me up a little bit, but I just couldn't make the pass. And then we got to some back markers, and I just barged through. I clipped him as I came past, so I couldn't do much about it really.
Doesn't seem to have used much juice again. He's not opening the throttle enough. Just checking there's nothing dropping off by touching it.
After the first race, the belting tussle was felt throughout most of the race. So I went down to talk it over with him and just have a bit of a chat generally, having not spoken to him that much beforehand. Just before the start of the second race, the weather conditions worsened slightly and the track was now becoming rather greasy and slimy. Not really enough for wets, but maybe due to the coldness, maybe just too much for intermediates to deal with. So there was a lot of panicking and rushing around, indecision. So I ended up settling for a wet front and an intermediate rear. However, in the second race, just as we were starting the second lap, I was dicing it up front with the new group. I just realised on the first lap someone had gone down at the bottom of Graham Hill Bend, and I'm sure they put some oil or something down, because just tucking in behind the leader, both wheels went from underneath me and down I went. There was 8 other riders went down as well, so I think the general consensus was there was something down to cause so many people to come off.
Well, I had an off on some oil at Graham Hill Bend. I was one of 9 to go down.
Once we got Ming back from the scrutineering bay after the scrutineers inspected the damage, etc., we've got a full night's work ahead of us to kick him straight. As it was, there wasn't so much damage overall, just various bits and pieces.
Peg and the fairing. We've got a new handlebar sorted out, the steering damper we repaired. We've a fair way to go yet, but should be alright.
There was enough few little niggly problems though, like the gear linkage was damaged, and the gear lever has roller bearings in it which were damaged and quite tricky to replace or repair. So while Steve got on with various fairing component bits, I had to go at the gear lever, and between us we spent up to probably about 11 o'clock at night making sure he was right, ready for technical inspection on the Sunday.
I'm chemical metal repairing the engine casing where a bloke has fallen off and made a hole in it. So it doesn't leak oil, and then it will pass through scrutineering. And that's what I'm doing. There you go. I'm being a boy with the toy. Oh yeah, that's got a crack, isn't it?
That's just pulling them up.
Well, the only option is to take
Take the fairing off and go like that with it.
Like that.
There's not going to come off there though, is it? It was still quite damp, but the day so far was looking like it was going to be much better. Certainly the temperature was higher than on Saturday. Daughter Jodie was down as help as well, and she was a great help. Getting the stands ready and unfurling the tyre warmers and plugging stuff in, and really mucking in. Proper family effort.
I think it would be ideal to go up on the main as well. Well then, In yesterday's race and practice, the bike was carbureting quite poorly coming out the corners. So we've lifted the needle to make it richer in the mid-range, and it seems to have made quite a big difference, hopefully. It wasn't quite up to the working temperature, but it felt much better. So I think between the two races, we might go up on the main jet as well.
First race on Sunday,
up on the main jet as well.
The grid position
See if that works.
determined from the previous race. Because I'd crashed, that meant I started from the back row, so I was in position 29 back on the late. The first race on Sunday started from the back, row 8. It was a bit tricky, it was very hard work working my way through the back markers. But eventually I did make quite good progress, and the weather conditions were nice and dry, so I could push on particularly hard. I ended up with quite a good race overall, and I got to work my way up to 4th position. The front tyre was working alright, but the back tyre was now like 4 races old, plus a little bit of dyno time and a little bit of practice. It was really starting to show signs of wear. So we decided to treat it and put a brand new tyre on for the last race, the big race.
Those two were out in it all time, but then what I won it, got faster, he got away from second place, all together.
Who was it then? Who won?
No, Palmer won.
Oh, Palmer.
Holden led most of the race. It was as they came down to Graham Hill, it was a rookie, back marker. Opened up again between them. That was a lovely year, that very last lap. Was it 3 bikes you did to get the 4? Well, you did 2 here, and then you were following that guy with the green bike as you were coming around clearways. And you obviously dragged him down the line again.
You got round him on the outside? You didn't? No. What's going on this afternoon?
I didn't know where he was going from. I don't want to go too wide in case he goes wide, so I come to the inside. Just as he shut the door, I didn't even know it was there.
On to race 4, which was the second race on Sunday. And about 10 minutes before our race, the heavens opened, so there was no option of quick change to put in the wet weather tyres, which we'd previously put in the van thinking that we didn't need them. Just goes to show you can get it wrong every time. The wet race, I started from the road in the front row in 4th position, so I thought I'd stand a reasonable chance. However, the leading 2 guys were absolutely flying, and I was just not prepared to go any harder than I was doing, except for a nice comfortable 3rd. However, that was a little bit confused because I got stuck in behind some back markers on a yellow flag, and the 4th place guy caught and passed us and dragged us to the line. Could have been nice to get a rostrum, but never mind.
Just got out dragged to the line.
I just saw it then, I thought, okay, what if you've done it? And I could see when you're on that line, and I was sort of standing, I thought, so past him. Brought her back safe. Brought him back. Not the minger.
Yeah, the other 2 were just, I was sliding going down paddock, and I thought, I'm prepared to go faster than that. They're all kept to it. I'm going into Druid, and yellow flag's out, so I couldn't pass him. I just had to ride round. I must have lost a second and a half there. Alright.
Rather you out there than me, anyway.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah, but it needs more speed, definitely.